What's up, my friends? Welcome back to the YouTube channel at the What If Project. It's great to see you here. I want to share with you about another tarot card. I mentioned in my last video that I've been pulling tarot cards every morning. And I've been so fascinated by the way that they tie into so many scriptures. The Bible, also some of the Gnostic texts, and some texts from other religions as well. And it's just so interesting to me because I'll pull a card and I'll think about it and I'll see something in the card that I see paralleled in like the Bible, and I'm just like, all these different fuses will shoot off in my head. And this is all new for me. And one of the ways that I process things is by creating stuff, whether it's images and graphics and pictures and things like that, or it's writing like a blog post, or just kind of flipping on a camera and talking. And so this is my attempt to process the things that I'm learning. You may find it helpful, you may not find it helpful, you may find it interesting, you may think it's stupid, whatever. It's not for you, it's for me, and but you are invited along for the ride. But I've been on this quest to discover things about God, and discover things about faith, and discover things about spirituality that go deeper than the surface. I'm somebody who went through Bible college, seminary, multiple degrees, pastored a church, and I've been realizing that all of the information that I've been given, in a way, was very surfacey. Right? Like I learned all the theologies, all the doctrines, all the things. We got a little bit into heart stuff, like your inner spiritual life, but a lot of it had to do with this, right? Making sure that you had the right answers, you can explain things in the right way, you had the right understanding about different things, and not as much was focused on this, listening to your inner voice, listening to your intuition, listening to the voice of God, the voice of the divine, the voice of yourself inside. I was always taught to not trust that inside voice. You had to be really wary of that voice, because that voice is your humanity. It's been influenced by the world. And so you really got to pay attention to the voices that you're listening to. And the one that you should be most suspect of is your own voice, the one on the inside. And so I was always taught to stay away from that. But now I'm in this space where I'm learning to trust that voice more and more, because that voice has been through some stuff. That voice has some wisdom to offer. That voice is worth listening to. And so I've been learning to trust it, learning to develop it, learning to be able to hear it, to be able to hear that intuitive voice on the inside. And so anyway, this morning I sat down with the cards. I sat down with my Bible, and I asked God, like I always do, what is it that you have for me today? As I open up this Bible, as I pull a card, what do you want to say to me? What do you want to speak to me? Shine a light. Use this moment, God, to shine a light on something that you want to say to me. Like, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm halfway through a cup of coffee, I'm somewhat awake. Would you help me be able to hear your voice? Help me in this day. Give me a focal point for the day, for the week, different things like that. So the card that I pulled is the Hierophant card. And you can see that this card is it's a man or a woman sitting on a throne, right? And you can see the golden crown, the red gown. You can see the scepter in one hand, kind of this sign of peace or something with the other hand. The crosses going down the front of the gown. There's crosses on the ground. There's keys on the ground. There's these two people who are maybe bent, knee bent, in front of him or her, requesting something, asking for help or something like that. So what this card symbolizes to me is that there's a there's a quest. There's a request, right? These two people are going before this person who's obviously very knowledgeable, and there's a request. And for me, it speaks to the request for knowledge, the request to have knowledge, the request to have deeper understanding, the desire to go deeper, to know more, to understand more, to gain more wisdom, to gain more knowledge, to gain more experience. And this person on the throne has that to give, because the person on the throne seems to be somebody who has some experience, who maybe has some answers, has something to offer. And so that's what the card speaks to me. And then I have a book that I refer to a lot called The Guided Tarot. I mentioned this in the last video, but her name is Stephanie Capone. And she says that this card, the Hierophant, is an interpreter of sacred mysteries or esoteric principles. So the card evokes an ongoing quest for knowledge. The person on the throne studies and learns by upholding traditions, participating in rituals, and teaching ancient knowledge to others. It's about purity and devotion to spirituality, having a strong faith and a set of strict principles to live by, to be the happiest following a traditional course of study. The card is luring you or inviting you to remain open to new courses of study and to honor tradition while also forming your own unique set of beliefs and rituals. Be open to a potential new teacher in your life, and on the other hand, this teacher could be you. You could be the teacher. You may even teach healing arts or offer spiritual guidance. And I love this because it's about a quest for knowledge. And it's about you, the one who pulled the card, potentially being the teacher or the guru. And that for me doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to teach, that I'm going to teach other people different things, or that I'm going to, get a job as a teacher, or I should go and, look to put myself in a position of teaching things to other people. But what it means to me is that I am my own teacher. I can listen to, I can trust the intuitive voice inside that is teaching me, talking to me about God, talking to me about the divine, talking to me about faith, talking to me about following God and developing a relationship with God and evolving in my understanding of God. That voice inside can be trusted. It's not just about reading some intellectual stuff in theology books or the Bible or some other spiritual book, but it's about listening to the voice inside. Yes, you want to honor tradition, right? I want to honor tradition. I love so much of what I've learned in the Bible. I love a lot of what I've learned in my theology classes. I want to give honor to that tradition. But I also want to develop my own faith and my own theologies and my own understanding. Right? You want to honor tradition, but not at the expense of dishonoring yourself. You want to listen to the voices that are coming to you from teachers and things like that, but not at the expense of not listening to your own inner voice. Both are important. And for a lot of my life, I've been told that one is much less important, the inner voice. The others are so much more important. And so all this makes me think of the Gospel of Thomas. I have this book called the New Testament, which is the normal New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, through Revelation, but also has grafted in some of the Gospels and texts that didn't make it into the Bible. The Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Mary, the Gospel of Truth, and a whole bunch of other ones as well. And the Gospel of Thomas is basically what they call a sayings gospel. So basically it's not like a story, but it's just saying after saying. Jesus said, Jesus said, Jesus said, Jesus said. And a lot of the sayings in this gospel, you can find Jesus saying in other places as well, in the traditional gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So anyway, Jesus, in saying number 3, he says, the realm of heaven is within you and outside of you. And when you come to know yourself, then you will be known. and you will realize that you are the children of the living Father. When you come to know yourself, then you will be known. In other words, that voice inside is an important voice. You've got to listen to it. You've got to come to know it, become familiar with it, give it a space at the table and listen to it because it has much to offer. That inner voice is this person on the throne. That inner voice, we've got to come before that inner voice. We've got to bow before that inner voice and listen to it. Give it space to speak. Give it room to express itself. Learn from it. Ask it, what do you have to teach me about God, about faith, about the divine? And so for me, this card is a permission slip to keep listening to the voice, to keep exploring. I'm on this path to explore, to learn as much as I can about God and the divine. I'm reading things from Buddhist traditions, Hindu traditions, Tao tradition. I mean, so many different things. And I'm finding so many parallels between those things and the Bible and what I've just learned about God in my own life from listening to that inner voice. It all ties together. It's all connected. As my friend Alexander John Shaya says, all are one. Everything is one. It's all connected. And that's what this card speaks to me. So listen to your voice. Listen to your inner voice. Give it space at the table and see what it has to say to you today about God and about your relationship with God and the divine. Much love to you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.